Dear conference participants, we present to your attention the report Research of the Impact of the Ecology of the State of Cybersecurity of the Critical Infrastructure Objects. The current stage of development of society is characterized by the introduction of new technologies, which is a sign of the level of economic development of the country. The growing role of the information sphere for the economy of the state is associated with its rapid entry into the communications, transport, energy, financial, defense, and other spheres. Unlike traditional IT systems in automated process control systems, which operate on the critical infrastructure objects, there is a fairly close relationship between automated systems and physical processes. Therefore, the violation of cybersecurity in the automated process control systems can lead to consequences in the industrial sector and environmental impact. In view of the above, it is necessary to analyze the impact of the environment and to develop effective and adequate proposals and measures for cybersecurity of information systems of the critical infrastructure objects to prevent such impacts. Cyberattacks are aimed at damaging assets. An asset is an entity that is valuable to an individual, organization, or state. Therefore, security programs are aimed at protecting assets from damage. Assets of the critical infrastructure objects can be classified by type as follows: physical, logical, and human. Assessment of asset losses can be expressed by type as follows. The danger of cyber threats in the critical infrastructure objects, automated systems from many threats will be determined by assessing the possible consequences of its implementation from the standpoint of impact of the operation of the critical infrastructure objects automated systems, and the severity of such consequences, the risk factor of this threat. Its threat to the cybersecurity of the information system circulating in the information system of the critical infrastructure object can be described as follows. The risk threat in automated systems of the critical infrastructure object from many threats will be determined by assessing the possible consequences of its implementation from the standpoint of impact of the operation of automated systems of the critical infrastructure object and the severity of such consequences, the risk factor of this threat. The relevance of the threat to cybersecurity of the information system in general can be described as follows. The probability of information security threat will be understood as an indicator determined by an expert which characterizes the value of the probability of realization of a certain information security threat in the automated system of the critical infrastructure object with specified structural and functional characteristics and features. For this purpose, it is necessary to enter gradation of this indicator concerning the threat, which can be described as follows. The main categories of influence is automated control systems of the critical infrastructure objects are physical impact, economic impacts, and social influences. Categories of impacts in automated control systems of the critical infrastructure objects, it is possible to list the consequences of these impacts. Violation of national security, facilitating the commission of an act of terrorism, loss of reduction of production, injuries of death, damage to equipment, criminal or civil obligations, loss of private or confidential information, loss of brand, image or customer trust, emission, leakage, evaporation or theft or hazardous materials, environmental damage, etc. Thus, taking into account the above, it can be noted that the state of cybersecurity of the critical infrastructure objects is influenced by the following factors. Thank you for attention.